Hello, everyone. It's me, Matthew, and welcome back to another episode of the Whatta podcast. Wow. That's 11. Dude, that's 11. You know how crazy that is? Why is that crazy? Because next week is 12. You know what that'll mean? That'll mean 12 consecutive weeks. Not consecutive. 12 weeks of podcasting. Thanksgiving messed up the schedule, so it's not consecutive. But that's 12 weeks. That's insane. Why does my voice sound weird? Because I just woke up. That's right. This was recorded the day of. Boom. Insane. That's crazy. Never again, by the way. I enjoy doing it the day before. It does make me feel a little bit better about things. But yeah, no. I could not record yesterday because I was driving back to campus, It's the end of the Thanksgiving break for, any human being that does school in any fashion. So I had to make my way back up to campus because I have classes this morning. That's right. I'm recording this before my classes. That is how early it is. It is not that early. It is 9 a.m. Yeah. The drive wasn't too bad. For someone going as far as I had to go, there were definitely points where I might have felt a little insane. At least in the first half of the drive, because I had to start at 5 in the morning. I actually left earlier than that. I left at 4:40, running on my 4 hours of sleep that I got, because I was not able to get to bed until midnight. Just nope. I was just awake. There's nothing I can do about it. I was like, yeah, I guess this is the life. Running off of 4 hours to go drive 12. Felt insane, but I did it. Okay, I did it. I only had to stop for gas 3 times. Hey, I ate 1 meal on the way. I felt like a god. There were only a few times when I started to drift off, but I was safe, okay? I've gotten really good at holding the steering wheel straight. If I accidentally do that, that's not a good thing, but it is a good thing. I've also learned that people have some dumb road rage. Some people are just petty, especially with their horns. They're just real petty. I won't lie, there was definitely a point where I thought I died while I was driving, because my phone just lost connection to my data. So I wasn't able to do anything. I couldn't call anyone. I couldn't open up an app and play music. It was just nothingness. And then no matter how much I tried, I couldn't get it to reconnect. So I had thought to myself, no, you know what? I died. I've clearly died, and my little ghost me is still finishing my drive up, right? And so I have no connection because I'm a dead man. I'm just a little ghost. Little ghosts don't get data. They don't get service. No, they're just little ghost men. Ooh, little ghosty men. Little ghosty men. Ooh, can you hear me yawn? You don't normally get that when I record in a Sunday afternoon. No siree, I'm usually awake. I'm still quite tired, even though I went to bed early. I went to bed earlier than normal yesterday, and then I woke up, turned off both alarms that went off, and just kind of vibed in my sleep. And I rolled out of bed and saw how much light was coming in, and I was like, I hope it's 11 o'clock so I can say, oh, missed my class. No, it was 8:30, and I went, oh, that's not 11 o'clock. Why have you forsaken me? I'm kidding. I don't really skip class. That's also a false statement. I just don't skip class. It's not that I really don't. I just don't. I've never enjoyed that. I've never understood how people can enjoy being like, hey, let me pay hundreds of dollars to come, hundreds of thousands of dollars upon millions, whatever, to go to a college. And then I don't feel like my morning lecture that happens once every 2 weeks. It's like, what? No, you better go to that. You paid for that. Come on now. You're better than this. So I've never been much of a skipper for like college. Uh, if I've missed something, I've missed it on accident. That's usually how it goes. High school? My senior year, I was just kind of existing. I was not having a good time my senior year. None of that was a good time. Didn't help that it ended with COVID. So I didn't even finish out the year, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. What else was I going to say? I don't remember. My brain is blanking out really hard this morning. But the drive wasn't too bad. I made it safely. I wasn't a little dead ghost without service. I did eventually get service when I stopped to get gas, which is so dumb to me. I was like, here I am doing my thing and just no service the entire time. Just give me a little bit. Just give me a little taste of service. Give me a little data. Let me hear from my family and friends. Let them know that I'm okay. Because there's nothing better than leaving out at 4:40 in the morning and then having an entire state, essentially, stretch of time where you can't contact them. It's ridiculous. It was quite ridiculous. I was very upset about it. I was like, hey, I'd like to contact my family. And the world was like, the best we can do is music from your CDs, from your CD collection. You know that thing you own for that exact reason, for if you suddenly don't have data or Wi-Fi, or if like the internet went out, you've got your CDs. I started listening to some interesting songs. I've got albums in my CD collection that I've never touched. They were given to me. They weren't given to me. I was given like a set of them and was told, pick out the ones you want. And I went, okay. And I was just kind of listening. And I was like, I've never listened to these. Because my brain was like, I don't want to listen to any of the other albums that I've had for like years now at this point. Because I've heard them so often. So I pulled out some of these other ones. I think one was called Stabbing. One was called Darkest Days. That was the name of the album by a group called Stabbing Westward. And that was an interesting listen. It was quite long, too. It was way longer than I expected it to be, but it had an interesting vibe to it. I don't know how to describe that vibe to you, because I thought it was going to be like pop punk. Not pop punk. Maybe just punk. I guess that's pop punk. Like, something along those lines. And then instead, I was greeted by what sounded like... It sounded like if I took the scene from the first Blade movie. If you haven't seen the first Blade movie, I recommend a watch. The sequels aren't that good. The second one is okay. Because Guillermo del Toro. It's okay. And then the third one is not good. Because that had the most issues between its director and Wesley Snipes, who played Blade. And really the only saving grace of that movie is Ryan Reynolds doing what Ryan Reynolds does best and playing himself again. Sorry, I yawned again. No, I know I sound like a Transylvanian vampire. Sorry. Nope, that's not a funny joke. But yeah, watch the first Blade. There's a scene in the that opens the first Blade movie, right? When we get introduced to vampires, and it's like a rave scene in this weird, like, I don't want to say bathhouse club, but it's essentially like a little bathhouse, and they've set up like the sprinklers with blood. It's a cool scene. Okay, my description will never do that scene justice, and I know that, and now you know that because you had to listen to it. But one of the songs on this album that I heard, I was like, if I were to like reshoot the Blade rave vampire scene, I would put this song in it because it just felt appropriate. And then that's when I knew I was too bored. Then when I started to think about, what scenes in movies can I reshoot and put my own music into it? Not my own music, but like music I'm listening to into it. And I was like, I might need to talk to someone. It's like, this might be a little too much time to myself. Maybe just a smidgen. But yeah, I listened to that. I listened to the Red Hot Chili the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because I almost called them the Red Hot Chilies Pepper. I listened to their album Mother's Milk, and the only song I couldn't listen to is the first one because apparently it was scratched, which was a little disappointing. But I only knew the second one. I can't remember what that song is off the top of my head right now. So if you go Google it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Whatever the second song on the Mother's Milk album is. Which, hey, what does that mean? Your album is called Mother's Milk. Like breast milk? Guys? What? Why was that the name of your album? Why is there no song on there called Mother's Milk? You know what, there might be. I don't think I remember reading song titles when that one was scrolling through. But I kind of hope not, actually. I hope not. I don't want to know if they've got a song called Mother's Milk in there. And if they do, I hope it's that first one that's scratched that I can't ever hear. It'll make me feel a little bit better. Because that song felt long. Because the scratch didn't just skip it to the second one. It would skip it through itself. So I would hear like other sections within the first song. And I was like, there's like 3 songs in here. I was like, there's no way this is all the first song. But it is. It is all the first song, buddy. Did you hear that, boy? Sam's in the well. Oh, no. What? What? Where did that come from? Is that my tired brain? Because that's not my funny brain. My funny brain is not active. Okay, my funny brain is like, hey, you've got projects to work on. And I'm like, hey, you're the funny brain. Don't talk about that. And it's like, well, the funny brain will be sad brain if you don't do them. I don't like doing projects. I never have. I don't like not having access to editing equipment or to devices that can use editing equipment properly. It's so dumb to me. My campus in like the space where they've put like my college's classes, like cinema, they have an area that's filled with computers that have all the software on it. And you're like, oh, cool, I'll just go edit there. And then you get there, and you find out that you have to have your own, like, Adobe account to use the software. And I was like, then what's the point of you guys having this whole space if I have to have my own account still? Because, hey, newsflash, that costs me money. And I refuse to spend that amount of money to do so little. Like, if I was cranking out a project every week, so 16 projects for the semester, okay, yeah, I'll go crank in $30 a month to the Adobe subscription because it's $30 a month if you're a student. But to do 4 projects, essentially once a month, no. I'm not gonna, no. I refuse to crank $30 a month out so I can edit a single project for a class that's like 2 to 4 minutes long. Nope, that's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And people were arguing me on it. They were like, you don't need your own account. I was like, hey, I went and asked an administrator who then went and reached out to the person running this section who said you need your own account. Their email response was to send me the instructions to get to the Adobe website and create an account. I know what I'm talking about. I don't like when people try to assume you know less. It's like, hey, I just went through this whole process. You asking this professor who has never spoken to this other person? That's not how it works. They've never spoken to this person. They know what they think they know. Okay? I went and spoke to them. And I know that you need an Adobe account, and I think that's dumb. Because it's super dumb. Why am I paying to come to a college and then being told, here's access to the latest equipment to use at like your disposal, to then be told, oh, you still need this? What? No. If you want to give me a computer that can use that software, okay, yeah, then I'll go pay $30 for it. But I'm not going to pay $30 so I can go to your computer lab and log in and do my work and then log out and then not be able to use it because my own computer can't run it It really can't. I remember I used to try and do, I used to try editing on my laptop. Not good, dude. Not good. I once, I once rendered, which for those that don't know what rendering means, it's when you finalize the project and export it as one file. I rendered out a 6-hour long project. It took 36 hours to render out on my laptop. 36 hours. And then let's not even talk about how long it took to upload a 6-hour thing. Basically almost felt like it took just as long. And that was insane. That was insane. I was like, no, I can't do this. With the amount of things that I do, like, people have asked me, hey, why don't you put like a face cam in your gaming stuff? Or like, why don't you do this? Like, why don't you edit it down or something? It's like, well, I would if I could. I, don't have the time for that. I'm a college student, guys. I do college things. And then I'm like, all right, let me crank out my hour-long video, right? And I put that into the world. You know, the newest thing I've done has been streaming and this podcast, because those are both also quite easy. You know, I don't have to go back and edit the stream. Okay, it happened live. There were people live. It was cool. Duh. And then I don't ever edit the podcast, which is why you get me at my dumbest sometimes. And I'm just like, yeah, this is nice. I like this. Boom. But I don't have the time or the equipment to be able to be like, well, let me just hop into Adobe and just edit down this hour-long video to like 30 minutes and then add in funny things. Ha ha ha. No, that would take my whole day, because no real human being is able to sit and do something like that properly without, like, I don't know, financial support. That's why all of those famous YouTubers have editors that they pay to do their editing. Duh. Like, can you imagine? You would get so much less things from people like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and PewDiePie if they didn't have editors that they paid to make this their job. Those people's financial lives come from these things. Of course they're going to put all their time and effort into it. Mine doesn't. I don't get money for the things I do. I just do them. So I don't have the time to be like, well, I could edit this video down and then have it up and ready for tomorrow, and then do the same thing again tomorrow, and the same thing the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. But I can't. I genuinely can't, because I have to go do college things and then also kind of live a life. Duh. Hey, I don't know about you, but I do enjoy making attempts to live a life. I don't do it well. I don't do it well. There are definitely moments and times where I'm like, what if I just sit in my room and fall asleep at 5 p.m, because I'm exhausted. And then there are other times, it's never 5 p.m, but then there are other times where I'm just like, what if I go bother this human being? And then I go bother this human being. And I have a good time about it, and we have a blast. We have a blast, dude. We're having such a blast. Oh, dude. I hate that to do that face for that voice. You have to, like, close your eyes. Can I do it with my eyes open? No. Never mind. I look dumb. I could feel it. I could feel it in my soul. The same way I could feel that everyone will hate me. Because every time I've been seeing a croissant recently, I've been cranking out one of those, one of those Carl Weezer quotes. You know the one. The good old, Jamie, are you gonna finish that croissant? I don't even think I've ever seen the episode that's from. Okay? I just know Carl Weezer loves croissants. And he also loves Jimmy's mom. I enjoy how many things are just like, yeah, Carl loves Jimmy's mom. Did you know? Oh, did you not know that Carl loves Jimmy's mom? Yeah, he loves her mom. What? He loves her mom? No. He loves his mom. His mom. Whoa. My nose is stuffed. How did that happen? That wasn't supposed to happen. Stuffy nose, no. I already fought off my cold. Why are you stuffy? Stan, why are you mad? Try to understand that I do want you as a fan. That's what came to mind when I said, why are you stuffy? I'm mad. Try to understand that I do want you as a fan. Listen to a lot of Eminem. Was that on the drive up or was it the drive down? It was both. I listened to a lot of Eminem in the last week. I listened to the Slim Shady LP. I listened to Curtain Call. I listened to Revival. I think that's what that one's called. I listened to Music to Be Murdered By, or Music to Get Murdered By, whatever it's called. I think it's Music to Be Murdered By. And I want you to know, I've listened to 3 out of the 4 of those a lot to be able to like really recognize the songs, but I don't listen to Revival that often, just because I know it's when he was like self-censoring himself. It was more in line with his beliefs, which was odd. Not odd because I'm like, oh, you shouldn't do that. No, like he can do what he wants. He's Eminem. Eminem could do whatever he wants at this point, and I don't think we could really stop him. But I guess I just never paid enough attention to realize just how aligned to his beliefs those songs were. Like I knew about the one song where he dislikes the former president. I'm sure saying just those 2 words alone will get my video just placed somewhere in someone's feed. But I didn't listen to the other songs with that same intensity because that one caught me off guard. Okay, and that's why I realized it, but I didn't listen to the other ones that well. And when I did, because I was driving alone, I was like, oh, these are some interesting songs in here. Very interesting. And I don't ever hear anyone talking about them. I hear people talk about how bad the album is, and like there are better Eminem albums, obviously, but that one wasn't too bad, not in my opinion, if I'm being honest. I thought it was okay. I just thought it was interesting to hear some of those songs, like White Boy. That was something. I guess I was living under a rock to have just not registered that song existed. But I listened to it, and I was listening to the lyrics as I drove, and I went, huh, well, that's something. Okay, then. My nose is stuffy. But yeah, interesting man. And then I thought it was funny because since I'd listened to that again recently, when I listened to Music to Be Murdered By, and he talked about that album and how it failed. And I was like, oh, he's addressing it. Oh, okay. It felt fresh, it felt good since I had listened to the previous album. I'm sure people that didn't listen to that album were just like, what is he talking about? Or they were like, I don't care. I was like, oh, okay. He's talking about it. Interesting. I also realized that I got way more hyped to Godzilla than I thought I was going to. I feel like I shouldn't. It's such a goofy song with such a not weak chorus, just a kind of bland chorus. It's not weak, it's just kind of bland. But I like that one. I like that one a lot. I listen to a lot of music. I'm probably going to just talk about that continuously. So sorry. So sorry. So sorry, sir. Sir. Sungwoo. I've probably just hurt like 4 people. Only 4 people. No one else watches that show that listens to this podcast. And if you do, I'm sorry. Leave a comment down below. Tell me why I've hurt you. But I tried listening to a lot of rap because obviously it was early in the morning and I needed to stay awake. And so I listened to Because the Internet by Childish Gambino. And I was getting hyped. when I got to the back half of the album, I don't know what those songs are called. It's like Earth, the oldest something, and then Life, the something something. They've got some long titles that don't fit on my screen, and my screen, because it's an older car, is dumb, so it doesn't scroll for some reason. It just sits there, looking at the portion of the title that it willingly displayed for me. So I couldn't tell you what they were called, but I was getting hyped. And of course, it was aided by the fact that my Mini Cooper, if you didn't know, I drove a small car as a not small man. And people think it's funny. And I think it's funny, but I also enjoy the car. It's a good car. But it has a lot of bass to it. Like, you can turn up the bass in it. So my bass is boosted, essentially. And so I don't know what song it was that just started by just continuous bass sound. Not like thumps or something, just one long drone of it. So my whole car was just like... And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if you heard that, so I'm going to do it again. That's what it sounded like. I was like, oh, okay. My car. That's what my car sounded like, because the bass was just rattling on all cylinders. And it was kind of goofy, I won't lie. I also feel bad because I think driving for that long and listening to CDs for that long really is taking a toll on my CD player itself, because my CDs come back to me hot. Like, they come back hot. And so I'm a little concerned. And I was like, yeah, I think that 13 hours of you getting 13 hours of music 2 times might be taking its toll on you. Although 13 hours of anything takes its toll on a lot of things. And a lot of things takes its toll on 13 hours. I hope you can hear that someone is vacuuming out in the hallway, because they're getting closer. So it's getting just a little bit louder, which is funny. I think that's funny. I normally try to record earlier in the morning, because then I can avoid that noise. Because I know that they come around this time. Because I used to record during this time. And it was so funny, because I'd always be like, oh man, here comes the vacuum. Here comes the vacuum noise. Oh, it's the vacuum noise. It's in your recording. Oh no, the whole internet's going to hear the vacuum noise. I don't know why my nose is so stuffy. I didn't get a cold. I think this is because I woke up like this. I would say it's allergies, but I don't think I have allergies. Although I've never been tested to see if I have allergies. So maybe I should. Maybe I do. Maybe I do have allergies. I'm not reading any of my notes today, because I don't have any notes. It's just the things that I remember that I want to talk about that I'm talking about. So it's like fresh, you know? Fresher than fresher than Limp Bizkit's Rollin. Dude, why do we still reference that song? Is it because it's funny to just be like, rollin', 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 and then my whole video gets claimed? No, like, was that even a good song? Did people like that song because it was good, or because they could make fun of it? Because there's a distinct difference. It's like, oh, we're going to make fun of this, eh? And then they click-clack their fingers together like I just did. Oh, that's not a good song. It's what I did, though. I was rolling, 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 rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Roll it, roll it, roll. I didn't mean to make that noise at the end. I was rolling. What else did I do? How was my Thanksgiving? Said the imaginary voice. Oh, it was pretty good. Watched a lot of things. Watched way more things than I thought I was going to watch in my Thanksgiving. I started Cowboy Bebop, the live action one, because I've seen the anime. And it's not that bad. I think I talked about this last week. That was fine. So there's Cowboy Bebop. Started Hit Monkey. Got like 2 episodes into that, and my brain is still processing. I think 2 episodes. Might be 3. Might be 4. But I'm still processing that one. It's a Marvel show. on Hulu, because I know Disney would never touch that one. Over on Disney Plus. It's interesting. It's very interesting. So there's Hit Monkey. So Cowboy Bebop, Hit Monkey. Saw Coming to America 2. That's how I'm gonna say its title. I know it's Coming to the Number America, but that's dumb. So I watched that. That was kind of funny. It was one of those dumb funnies where it's like, oh, okay, I see the level of comedy we're going for here. But it was still entertaining. I watched that one with family, so I think that made it funnier. And then I watched Knives. I showed Knives Out to my mom. That was nice. Oh, I saw Encanto. Nope. Try again. Encanto. Nope. Said it the same way. I don't know if I'm saying that right or wrong. I saw that with my girlfriend. That's right. Boom. I've got one. I mean, I've had one. The whole time. But no one asked, and no one cared. She also doesn't listen to this, so it doesn't matter. She will never know. She'll never know she was mentioned. I saw that with her. And that was something. I don't know if Disney is going to come at me for talking about this movie, since it's so new. I'm not going to spoil anything. I just thought it was an interesting direction that they took with the story, based off of what the advertisements had kind of told us. I was prepped for one thing, and that's not what I got. I enjoyed some of the characters. I enjoyed some of the songs. I forgot what else I was gonna say. My brain just kind of made it up. Where was I going? Blanked out. Oh no. I'm spiraling, dog. No. I enjoyed some of the characters. I enjoyed some of the songs. There were some other songs that I was like, but there were some better than others. It's a nice little story. I enjoy Stephanie Beatriz as an actress. I think my bias comes from being such a big Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan. But I do know that that's not her actual voice when she plays Rosa Diaz. If you didn't know, Stephanie Beatriz is... her voice for Rosa Diaz is not her actual voice. It is her doing a deep voice, because when they shot the pilot, she had a cold that made her voice deep, and people liked it, so she just had to keep it up for the character. But her actual voice is naturally higher, so it's so goofy to witness. But it was nice to see her get like more things. She's just kind of branching out since Brooklyn Nine-Nine ended, because she was over in the Heights. And I have to assume Lin-Manuel Miranda had something to do with her also ending up over here as the main character in Encanto. But obviously my thoughts are always for movies are go watch it, form your own opinion on it, and then we can have a nice discussion on it down in the comments. Once you've watched it, that's always my thoughts. You can't say you don't like something if you've never seen it. Now, I will never force anyone to see something. If you're like, I don't want to watch this, I don't care about it, cool. But you can't, that's fine to me. But if you're like, oh, I hate that, and it's like, well, have you seen it? And you're like, no. Okay, then shut up. Shut up. How are you going to say you hate it, but you never watch it, and then you refuse to watch it? You can't have it both ways. Now, you watch it, and then you look me in the eyes and say you hate it? Cool. I will accept your opinion. I will ask for a why. You can give me a why, or you might not, depending on who you are. Maybe you don't like me enough to give me a why. But you can't just be like, oh, I hate it. Oh, no, I've never watched it, but I hate it. No, it's not how that works. You don't hate it. You hate your mind's idea of it. And because you hate your mind's idea of it, you can't bring yourself to go change your mind. Because obviously, your opinion is the best opinion. I'm just out here spitting facts suddenly. Ooh. hit the 30-minute mark, and I became a I became a fact spitter. I don't know what just happened there. I really, really don't. But it was a lot. Brain did not function well. It functioned less. I also watched, because I'm going to move on from that because my brain is struggling. I also watched The Lost Boys. Because I have to watch all three of them. Because I'm helping a good friend of mine, good friend of the channel, Jade. I'm helping her write a script for a project she wants to make. Lost Boys is involved with that. That's all I can say. Because it's not my thing to speak on. But I watched the first one. I think I might need to watch it again eventually because I feel like my brain didn't process that movie correctly. Like, I thought it was good, but I thought it was so fast. Like, it was so quick. And I think it might have just been quick from the end forward. Because it takes us so long, right, to see the vampires, right? Like, doing their vampire things. Like, we obviously already know from the get-go who our vampires are. But it takes us so long into the movie to see them doing vampire stuff, right? And then, by that time, like, we see them, like, maybe 2-3 more times. Because we see them in, like, quick flashes, right? Like, the first time we see them doing their vampire thing of, like, you know, eating people. And when we see them, like, the second time, all of a sudden, like, we see them fully, and then you're like, oh, we're in the third act? Oh, the movie's almost over. Oh, okay. You're just kind of like, I guess. I thought this was going to take longer. I enjoyed the final showdowns. I thought those were fun. I really did. They were quite enjoyable. And, there's nothing better than a good old 80s styled pun, such as death by stereo. That's a fun one. If you don't know what I mean, go watch the movie. It's fun. It's a little fun time. I had to buy the DVD. I went to Amazon. I bought myself a little DVD set. It gave me all three of the Lost Boys and Queen of the Damned, because I love Aaliyah. May she rest in peace. If she were still alive, I think she'd be a powerhouse of both acting and musical talent. Because as bad as Romeo Must Die is, it's one of my favorite movies, which doesn't set a good precedence for me, but it's one of my favorite movies. And I love it so much, and she's so good in it. Like, she has no right to be good in such a loosely disjointed telling of, like, Romeo and Juliet. Loosely is the biggest words I can give it. But she's really good, especially alongside Jet Li. Like, they have a very nice, like, natural chemistry. Like, it doesn't ever feel like, oh yeah, these are two actors acting. Like, you feel like, huh. You know that feeling? That, like, huh, feeling? That's how you feel watching that movie. And it's good. It's a good film. I feel like it deserves more love. I wish something else could come of it. I wish Aaliyah was still here. But yeah, she's got good songs. She's got good two. I don't know if she did any other movies. I just know the two. Now, Queen of the Damned, I genuinely have not heard good things about. I don't think I've ever heard someone speak highly of Queen of the Damned, but I'm still going to eventually watch it because I like her. I like Aaliyah. But yeah, so I will eventually get to the other Lost Boys movies that came out in 2008 and 2010. 30 years later. My word. 30 years? Let it go, guys. That movie's old. All 80s movies are old now, and that hurts me deeply, because you're like, oh, well, it's an 80s movie. It's not that old. 80s movie is 40 years old now. Did it come out in 81? Well, I'm sorry to tell you that from 81 to 2021 is 91 is 10 years, 01 is 20, 11 was 30, 2021, that's 40 years. This is the decade of 80s movies having their 40th anniversaries. All of them. Every year, we're going to get a new set of anniversaries. 40th anniversary for these movies. Hey, that's insane. That's insane, guys. 40 years. Absolutely ridiculous, dude. There's lots of classics in the 80s. Pretty much most classics are from the 80s, and if they're not, they're from the late 70s. You know? I think Halloween is late 70s. The first Star Wars is late 70s. I don't remember what else might have been late 70s. But then everything else, it's the 80s. The 80s was prime time for creation. But you know what I need? I need a 40th anniversary edition of They Live. I'll take that in a heartbeat. I've never watched They Live. I know so much about that movie. So much. And I've never actually seen it. Not once. It's insane. There's so many movies, like, within my, like, knowledge that I know, like, I know so much about it that I'm like, why am I ever going to go watch this movie now? Why would I go watch it? So I can confirm? So I can go confirm, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. No. Some of them, one day I will watch. Like Saving Private Ryan, eventually I've got to watch that. I know way too much about it already. There's no surprises left for Saving Private Ryan, for me. But it's still one of those movies that I'm like, well, I want to go watch it in its entirety, you know? That's what I did with Inglourious Bastards. I did the same thing. I was like, well, I know so much, but I guess I should go watch. Pretty much every Quentin Tarantino movie, I've done that too. I know way too much about it, and then I go back, and I'm like, well, maybe I should watch this. So I saw Inglourious Bastards. I'm working on seeing Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, but I know too much about them. I saw Django. I think I have only seen those two. No. Yep. Because he did not direct From Dusk Till Dawn. Robert Rodriguez did. I think he helped co-write it, though. That's a fun one. This is just me talking movies, you know? I meant to just talk about how long I was rolling. That flowed too naturally from my mouth. I think that means I should just go get ready for class. If those are the things my brain is coming up with, are coming up with. I'm struggling. Hey, thank you guys for listening. Wow, 11 of these? Insane. Absolutely insane. But tune in next week for whatever the 12th one's going to be. Where I write down notes this week and we see how it goes. Maybe I'll finish my finals by the time I record for you guys. So thank you all for listening. I've been Matthew. Make sure to check out everything else that I do from the link down in the description. I've got the Twitch streams, Friday and Saturday. I have my other YouTube channel where I post game videos daily, and it takes a lot to make those, so it'd be really nice if people check them out. So thank you guys again so much for listening to this podcast. I have been Matthew, as I've already said like 30 seconds ago, and I'll see all of you next week. Bye-bye.